Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing good. Everybody's year is off to a good start. We're all back to healthy, and we've experienced our first snowfall of the year, or actually the whole season. January 17th, it took long enough to get here. So today we're going to take a look at a couple of solar generators I have, compare the difference, and what I use them for. If you're interested, stick around. We'll talk about it. Hey guys, nothing like some drier clothes and a hot cup of coffee after snow blowing. I don't mind snow blowing once you get me out there. Getting out there is a whole different category of making me do something. I hate the cold. So we're going to talk about some solar generators today. And before we get there, just a couple of things. The name solar generator or power generator are misnomers. These devices don't generate anything. They store power. So they're basically the same as one of these that you would carry along and charge your phone up, just on a much larger scale, and the ability to charge up many more devices or operate devices. So they don't generate anything. B, I'm not sponsored by anybody. What I have is what I have, and I purchased it. So it is what it is. And three, this pretty much holds true across all these power banks, that once you start using the AC inverter, you're losing between 10 and 25% of your power, because you need that power to run the inverter as well as the cooling fans inside, and some of these larger units have more than one fan. So keep that in mind. If you're using 12 volt and USB, you're going to get more out of it, but it's understandable. There's a lot of things you need the AC for, and it won't work on 12 volt or USB. So we'll go on with that. So where we started at, it was about a year and a half ago, and I was trying to think of a way, and I didn't even know of any of this stuff yet, but I was trying to think of a way to avoid carrying around all of these things, to charge my phone, to run a fan, charge up all my camera batteries, the drone battery. I didn't have a backup for my laptop, so I started looking into one of these large power banks, power supplies. And after doing a bunch of research and figured at that time what my needs were, I picked up what is called an Engine Star. It's an off-brand. It's 300 watts, 600 watt peak for a few seconds, 298 watt hours. So the general rule of thumb with these is that you're paying $1 for every watt hour, and that holds true for the higher and more expensive brands like Jackery and Blue Eddy, and some of them are going for more than $1 a watt hour depending on what you're buying. But this is 298 watt hours. It does a great job charging my phone, does a great job with the laptop, the camera batteries, the drone batteries, the USB fan. It does a great job with all of those things. But as I moved on and started doing more and more stuff, like I got a 12 volt compressed refrigerator. The problem with this is it has a undisclosed safety circuit in here that if it's not drawing power in 15 seconds, it turns off. And anybody that's got a compressor 12 volt refrigerator knows that they cycle. And once it cycles, this turns off. And there's no power draw after 15 seconds. So this turns off, and ultimately the refrigerator turns off. So you're SOL. It won't come back on. And that's not very good. Now when you're expecting to keep your food, chilled, beer chilled, soda, creamer, milk, eggs, butter, the whole works. So the second thing that happened was I bought an area camp light, a floodlight for the campsite, and it's nearly 10,000 lumen. It runs on 12 volt, and the Engine Star, will only power it at 100%. For some reason, when I drop it down to 50%, and really with that light, all I need is 25%, the power would fluctuate, and again, this would turn off. It would die. not die, but it would turn off, and the light would become useless. And if I was going to run it at full power, it's taking like 46 to 50 watts. This would run a little less than 6 hours, 5 hours rather. So, you know, that was getting to be a bit of a hindrance. So I started doing more homework. Now the refrigerator I can run off the Joey, the little camper, for the whole weekend, off the deep cycle battery that's in there, and it would be fine. But the thing is, I like to shop the night before I go, because I usually go to work for a half a day. The refrigerator's in the back of the car. It's not going to run off the car when the car's not running. So I wanted something to plug it into to keep it running. So I ended up getting this Bi-Bean. It's much bigger. 614 watt hour, 500 watt, 1000 peak. And this has been a big game changer. It doesn't turn off but after 4 hours. If there's no power draw after 4 hours, then it'll turn off. So since the refrigerator cycles 2 to 3 times an hour for 10 to 15 minutes, this will keep running and keep it covered. I can plug that light in and I can take it down to 10%, and it still runs without a problem. I'm really happy with it. The difference is this has a lithium ion battery in it. It has between 500 and 800 life cycles. So you can drain it and recharge it 500 to 800 times, and then you'll start losing capacity. So you might get 80% for a few years, for a few cycles, and it slowly starts dropping off. This, which is much heavier, this has between 2,000 and 3,000 life cycles. Not that I'm ever going to use all of these. So you get a lot more out of it. It's got a lithium iron phosphate battery in it. And weight-wise, this is about 16 pounds. The engine star is under 7. So this is pretty light. But it does what I needed to do prior to getting the refrigerator in the light. So that's where we stand with that. Now the light can also work off of your car battery. It comes with a set of clamps. One of these days I'll do a review on that. But what I was trying to stay away from, and everybody started asking me, where's your Jackery? Why don't you have a Jackery? Why don't you have a Jackery? Here's my Jackery. It's the only Jackery I got. It's the only Jackery I'm going to own. Jackery is old technology, much like this is. It's a lithium ion battery. It has shorter life cycles. You pay a lot more money for it. When they came out, they were the guys to beat, and now they've been beaten. So if I wanted to spend my money on a Jackery comparably, it's 300 watts, 298 watt hour. I got it for $189 on Amazon, which is a good deal. Right now they have the bigger brother, which is 350 watt but 296 watt hours for $179. A Jackery would have been 300 bucks. This one, 614 watt hours, was $369 on Amazon. At 500 watts, an equivalent Jackery would have been around $500, and I'll get more life out of this than I would a Jackery. So a lot of the newer ones, I think Blue Eddy is now going to a sodium type lithium battery, or just a sodium type battery, which lasts even longer and has much more life cycles. I'm going to show you real quick how this light works. It's behind me, so you won't be able to see it, but you'll see the light. So it plugs in 12 volt. Turn it on. There you go. That's 100% right there. It lights it up pretty bright in here. So if I wanted to drop it to 50%, we can sit there and watch this go down. The power fluctuates, and I don't know why. It's running through the 12 volt circuit, and eventually the light will turn off. To me, that's really upsetting. Here we go. Well, I thought it would, but it didn't. Let me have some coffee while I'm waiting for this to prove me wrong. There you go, turned off. I don't know why. So we'll come over here to the Bi-Bean. We'll plug it in, turn it on, turn on DC. There you go, that's at 50% power. We can go back up to 100. It's working pretty good. It's pretty bright. It really lights up the campsite. It really does. That's 50. That's 25, and I can go lower. I mean, to cook food and have some light around the campfire while you're sitting in your chairs, you need something, it comes in handy. I was just kind of upset that the little one wouldn't handle it. But at high power, this is currently drawing 57 watts, and the bi-beam will run for about 10 hours at that draw compared to half on the other one. So they both come with a flashlight, although this one to me is irritating. The light itself is pretty good. It'll light up a tent, it'll light up a nice area around you, but then you have to cycle through. Yeah, you get the strobe, kind of crazy, huh? And then you get the SOS. You can understand if you could use this, you get in a car accident, you're out in the middle of nowhere, you run off a road, that'll work. But in general, I don't think you're carrying this through the woods. Alright? And that will just turn on by itself by that switch on the back. It doesn't turn on by itself. It has a switch on the back, and you don't need to power the whole thing up to turn on the light. You just turn on the light. The bi-beam, on the other hand, you have to turn on the main power first, and then you cycle through your light, and that's low, medium, and high, and it's a little bit brighter. You don't have a strobe to run through, and you don't have an SOS, which to me is irritating. So that's how those work. I'm really impressed with the bi-beam. I really like it for the price I got it. Again, people need to do their homework. There's a new one out there, Go Power. No, not Go Power. I'm not going to say who it is, but I guess a lot of people are having problems with it, and they're really pushing it big time on YouTube and everything. And last week I've seen 8 different videos. Go Labs, that's the brand. And one finally where it came out and says their customer service is terrible. Yet I've had no problems with either one of these. They both work like a champ, and I really like them both. So I'm happy with them. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. We'll talk about it. Otherwise, I hope this was a little bit informative, because I wasn't going to do tests, right? There's plenty of videos out there testing both of these units. Just wanted to share my experience, real world wise. I'm not sitting here plugging in a bunch of meters and everything and running tests. I know how they work. They suit me fine. I'll stick with the little one for charging things, camera, phone, drone, laptop. Use the bigger one for the refrigerator when I need to, because as most of you know, and if you've been following the channel, you know I have a generator along most of the time when I'm out with the little Joey. So, but for the light and emergencies, got them both sitting here in the man cave just in case we got a power outage. I did purchase 2 USB bulbs, light bulbs, and 10-foot cords that I'll be hanging under the canopy and using in the evening. So I like anything I can recharge rather than buying batteries. It's just personal opinion. If you want to go out and continuously buy batteries, it's fine. That's on you if you want to spend your money. Otherwise, hey, thanks for watching. Take care, stay warm, stay healthy. God bless.